it was a very constructive meeting. I feel better about the relations in the sense of, in many respects, one, the posture, if I can put it that way, or the positioning the president took towards us.
Prime Minister Mark Carney there calling his meeting today with Donald Trump the start of a process to redefine Canada's relationship with the United States. Earlier in the Oval Office, Trump did say he's no plans to lift tariffs. He also repeated his 51st state comments. Carney told him that will never happen and said that he also said behind their closed-door meeting that Trump should stop saying that, should say that Trump just said in front of cameras that the meeting went very well, that there was no tension, that we want to do what's right for our respective peoples, and that's what's going to happen. Sometimes the response from Trump that is delayed indicates more about what happened behind closed doors than anything else, and he is also saying that the meeting went well. The CBC's Aaron Collins has been helping us with our coverage all afternoon from Washington. It didn't take long, as I said, for some of the things that Donald Trump has been saying for a long time to come up again during this meeting. In this case, it was pretty clear the Prime Minister had a response and he had it ready.
Yeah, I mean, what political drama. And the Prime Minister must have known this was coming. No surprise here. And it didn't take long for him to get there. And what a difficult needle to thread for the Prime Minister. On the one hand, you've just won a federal election, basically saying you're going to stand up against the gentleman sitting next to you in the Oval Office. And on the other hand, you've got to lay out some, reasonable grounds for moving forward with the same fella. Really, really tough. And sort of with that idea of trying to be firm but polite in this interaction, let's sort of watch that as Donald Trump brings up that 51st state comment once again.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace, that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever.
So making it clear that Canada is not for sale, but at the same time, polite, right? Sort of keeping Donald Trump at bay to a certain degree and making the president feel respected, keeping that relationship positive. Now, later on, when Prime Minister Carney spoke to reporters, you could see the tone shift a little bit in the way he addressed this question. He was asked what was going through his mind when it came up. Obviously, he would have been expecting it, but still, he had this to say when asked about that. Have a listen.
I'm glad that you couldn't tell what was going through my mind as that was going through. With respect to the first point, the president has made known his wish about that issue for some time. I've been careful always to distinguish between wish and reality. I was clear there in the Oval Office, as I've been clear throughout on behalf of Canadians, that this is never going to happen. Canada is not for sale. It never will be for sale.
There's that talking point again, delivered a little more forcefully perhaps when the president's not sitting right next to him, Rosie.
Trump also said in that Oval Office meeting anyway that there was nothing that the Prime Minister could say to convince him to lift the tariffs. But I will say they now have a plan and a desire to keep talking. So I'm not sure that's where the day ended. It sounds like they're headed in a certain direction. But remind us, when we talk about tariffs, what is at stake for people and for industries, because that's really who's being affected by this.
Yeah, I mean, I've been sort of saying this all day. I don't think you can overstate the point. I mean, it's everything, right? It's $3.6 billion a day in trade between these two countries. You take a look at some of the major sectors we're talking about here. Softwood lumber, more than 80% of our exports go down to the U.S. The automotive industry, same story, more than 80%. And, of course, energy, oil and gas, 97%, almost all of it heads south. So this is a relationship that can't just be abandoned, right? So coming to new terms in this new sort of world we find ourselves in is essential. And you could hear Prime Minister Carney, sort of happy that we're taking a step towards that, Rosie. Have a listen.
Look, in a negotiation, you don't get like little elements of it. You get an end to a negotiation. we're having a very complex negotiation about a wide range of issues. And it's, as I said before I came here, I wouldn't have expected white smoke coming out of this meeting. That was not my expectation, that because of the nature of the negotiation. So you don't expect to have specific progress as things move along, even when you're making progress, because it's a global, that's why it's a global negotiation.
So you can see, I think, and that's probably the best result you could hope for if you're part of that Canadian delegation. No international incident and steps forward towards some kind of resolution.
Yep, that is the bar today, just to have more conversations going forward. The CBC's Aaron Collins in Washington, thank you so much for that.